Some video games secretly contain mechanics that most players never notice, even after hundreds of hours. And once you finally learn these hidden systems, it completely changes how you play the game. Today we're looking at 10 hidden gaming mechanics that many players completely missed. Some give massive advantages, some are just weird details developers added, and some secretly change gameplay more than players realize. Fortnite secretly gives players an advantage when peeking from the right side because of how the camera is positioned. Players exposing their right side can see enemies before exposing as much of their own character model. Competitive players abuse this constantly during build fights and box fights. Once players understand this mechanic, positioning suddenly becomes far more important during combat. And after noticing it once, it becomes impossible to ignore during fights. Most Minecraft players know crouching prevents falling off blocks, but many don't realize how important this mechanic actually becomes during advanced building. The game intentionally prevents players from slipping off edges while crouched, allowing players to safely build bridges over lava, giant cliffs, or the void. This simple mechanic completely changes how players approach dangerous construction projects. Without it, survival building would be significantly more frustrating. Skyrim secretly allows players to stack stealth bonuses to ridiculous levels. By combining sneak attacks, enchanted gear, skill perks, and certain weapons, players can deal absurd amounts of damage without enemies noticing them. This mechanic is part of why stealth archer builds became so infamous in Skyrim. Many players accidentally drift into stealth gameplay simply because the bonuses become unbelievably powerful. Grand Theft Auto games secretly track more NPC behavior than most players realize. In newer GTA games, NPCs can react differently based on player actions, remember aggressive behavior, or respond to nearby events dynamically. Small details like drivers panicking, pedestrians recording fights, or crowds reacting realistically help make the world feel alive. Most players never consciously notice these systems, but they massively improve immersion. Dark Souls contains hidden combat systems that many new players never fully understand, especially poise. Poise determines how resistant characters are to staggering when hit during combat. This means heavier armor can allow players to continue attacking even while taking damage, which dramatically changes certain fights. Once players understand poise, combat strategies become far more advanced and aggressive. Breath of the Wild contains environmental systems that constantly affect gameplay in subtle ways. Metal weapons attract lightning during storms, fire spreads through grass naturally, and cold environments slowly damage players without proper gear. The game encourages players to think creatively using weather and physics systems instead of brute force combat. These mechanics make the world feel reactive and dynamic instead of static. Most players realize horses improve over time in Red Dead Redemption 2, but many don't understand how detailed the bonding system actually is. As players spend more time with horses, the animals become calmer, more responsive, and easier to control during dangerous situations. The game even changes certain animations and behaviors depending on bond level. These details help create emotional attachment between players and their horses throughout the game. Apex Legends contains advanced movement mechanics many casual players never fully learn. Techniques like tap strafing, wall bouncing, and momentum control allow experienced players to move far faster and unpredictably during combat. Respawn never fully explains many of these systems directly, which creates a huge skill gap between casual and advanced players. Once mastered, movement becomes one of the most important parts of the game. Fallout games secretly track player behavior through companion systems. Different companions react positively or negatively depending on player choices, morality, dialogue, and actions throughout the game. Some companions approve of kindness while others prefer violence or selfish behavior. These hidden systems make companions feel more believable because they develop opinions about the player naturally over time. Elden Ring contains many hidden enemy weaknesses players never discover during normal gameplay. Some enemies become vulnerable to specific damage types, status effects, or environmental interactions that dramatically simplify difficult encounters. Players who experiment with builds and weapons often discover strategies that make impossible fights suddenly manageable. This hidden depth is part of what makes From Software games so rewarding to master. The best hidden gaming mechanics are the ones players naturally discover over time because they make worlds feel deeper and more realistic. And honestly, some of these mechanics completely change how games are played once players understand them. If there's a hidden gaming mechanic that surprised you, comment it below. And subscribe for more gaming content like this.